Today we're going to be here at CityWalk at Universal Orlando Resort. Hi everybody and welcome to the world of Micah. Today we're going to be visiting CityWalk at Universal Orlando Resort. We're going to travel around and we're going to find certain spots and see how much has changed since this place opened in the year 1999. Now Universal Studios opened its doors in June of 1990, and then in the year 1999 they decided to get rid of the parking lot that used to be here. That's right, when this place first opened, all of this was a parking lot, and build what we now know as Universal CityWalk. Now the places and the photos we're going to be comparing and contrasting today are from all kinds of different time periods. I'm not focusing on a specific time frame. We're just gonna look and see how much has changed in the last 20 some odd years. Let's take a closer look. Let's take a closer look. Now before we get started, go ahead and click that subscribe button because it's free and it'll keep you updated with my latest video. Did you ever get to park here when this was the parking lot? I think I got to do it like one time. And then the next time my family came, this was CityWalk. And it totally threw me off because I didn't believe that we were actually at Universal Studios. It just looked completely different. First stop is going to be straight ahead. You can see the sign that has Universal Studios Florida, Bread Box, Menchie's, the tattoo company, and the Burger King sign on it. But behind that is the now Grill and Brew NBC Sports restaurant. But back in the day, that was the NASCAR restaurant. To the right of that is now Voodoo Donut. That was the Element store. And we're gonna be focusing on those two restaurants right now. Now check this out, it's now Voodoo Donuts. But back in the day, this was the Element store, a clothing store. And where Menchie's is, that was a candy store. And if you can see Bread Box in the distance there where the red arrow pointing down says Bread Box and Eat, that was the TCBY. A lot has changed in this little area, but I do enjoy Voodoo Donuts. I think it's a great addition to Universal CityWalk. I couldn't believe that we were getting one here on the East Coast, because those things have normally been all the way onto the West Coast only. Now, at first glance, it's almost difficult to tell this is the spot, but it is, because if you look behind the building that has the windows at the very top, the little brick building kind of curves inward like it did when this was the NASCAR Cafe. And when this place first opened, where the doors were, right in front of them were two NASCARs. They had a Miller Lite and a Budweiser car sitting out in the front. And this is what it looks like present day for the Grill and Brew. And then somewhere along the lines, they redid the front and they added an extended building, and that's exactly what you're kind of looking at now with the NBC Sports Grill. If you can see, they added a gray building with some windows and they got rid of the cars, but the checkered building in the background of that was still there. They just added another entrance, if you would, to the front of the building. And this is what it looks like current day. Pretty wild. When it was built, it was based upon a sport, and now it's based upon all kinds of different sports. And our next spot, we're gonna head all the way up the staircase to see what it looked like back in the day. Straight ahead is now Bread Box, a handcrafted sandwich place, but back in the day, this was known as Cigars. You could walk in, buy cigars, cigarettes, and they had a bar area, and you would mostly see some locals, but this was a local hangout for team members. Most people who got off work, who worked at Universal Studios, you would see them in here just relaxing after work and having a good time. Pretty sure they have completely redone this, but looking at the windows match up on the door. Let me show you. Pay attention to the door and how the windows line up, and then look at this photo. It kind of matches up. Even to the right, where this pole is right here, that can be seen in this photograph, and in that menu right there, a Bread Box, is where the old sign used to be. and there was a cigar protruding up right here. A big fake cigar. And right there to the left of the doors, there used to be a little Indian man saluting you as you walked in, and that signifies that they sell tobacco. I went to Cigars quite a few times with some friends way back in the day. It was a good time. It definitely didn't feel like something you would see at a theme park. It felt like a local pub. Now on the second level here of CityWalk is mostly clubs and places that don't open until later on in the evening. So if you want to come take photos of things, the best time to come is during the daytime, because as you can see, it's a ghost town up here, but literally on the other side, down below on the first level, there's tons and tons of people. So the best time to take photos up here is during the day. But the next stop is going to be right down here at the bottom of this escalator. Things have definitely changed in this area. Now this was probably the most difficult one to line up, but I figured it out. You'll see because of the next photograph I will show you after this one. But back in the day, this escalator was not here, and that Cold Stone Creamery was the entrance to a store called Endangered Species, and it stretched all the way back through where the now Starbucks is. But this is where this photograph was taken, and the way you can tell is look to the far left of your screen. You can see that yellow overhang for the second floor. Back in the day, they did not have an escalator here, and I guess later on in time they built it for people to have access to get to the clubs on the second floor. But there was a store here called Endangered Species Store, sold all kinds of different animal merchandise. And this is a different angle of the Endangered Species store. You can see the shops and club sign is still here, and in the background, the red coconut. But Cold Stone, right in the back there, Cold Stone, that was the entrance to the Endangered Species store. I do not remember that store at all. I honestly do not remember that being here. But then again, walking into CityWalk, my mind was focused on getting to the different theme parks. So I wasn't really paying attention to a lot of stuff in CityWalk as a kid. But this photograph does not lie. That was the old spot for Endangered Species. Let me tell you something, and I'll be real honest. It's very difficult to line up some of these shots when you have a ton of people in the area, and I get it. It's summertime. This place is packed right now, but it's very difficult. So if you or your friends are trying to ever do stuff like this, be sure to pack your patience, because you will be doing a lot of standing, a lot of waiting, and a lot of quick shots. But let's move on to the next stop. Straight ahead is the Universal Studios store. Now, back in the day, it was still the Universal Studios store, but it's had a modern facelift. If you look at this photograph, if you look at the very top, they had a Jaws, Frankenstein, and a Jurassic Park cutout. And then right above where the Universal Studios store front entrance is, there was a photograph of Woody Woodpecker. And if you look even further down below that, there was a place that sold beverages. And right above the beverage thing, there was Curious George and a rocket. A lot has changed on this store, but the store's main focus still remains the same: selling Universal Studios merchandise. I'll be honest with you though, I kind of miss seeing Frankenstein's monster and Jaws on the front of this store. I don't know why, it made me feel like I was at Universal Studios. And we're already seeing progress happen right in front of our eyes. The new Big Fire restaurant is set to open very, very soon. Crazy. Things are always changing here at Universal CityWalk. Our next stop is right down here on the little waterfront at a place now called Twosome Chocolate Emporium. Back in the day, this was the NBA restaurant. And to get this photograph right, I've got to walk all the way around there to the front of it just to show you guys what it looked like with this photograph. But I wanted to bring you down here to the waterfront because this is probably one of the best spots to get a photo of any of this stuff. You can just stand right here on the corner and get your shot. Did you guys know that Margaritaville plane right there was actually Jimmy Buffett's real plane, and it was shot down because they thought he was smuggling drugs into the United States? True story. I did a video on that a long time ago. I'll put the link to that video in the description box. You guys can see it. But be warned, is some early World of Micah footage. It's not my best work, but it's still fun. Right here was where the photograph was taken. As you can see, it had the huge basketball player and the NBC City restaurant sign above him. But look at the staircase there in the front. That's how you know where you can match it up in this photograph. And to the right of the staircase, those bars leading to the wheelchair ramp are still here. And the staircase is pretty much the exact same. They just did a different paint job on it and everything. But this is now the Tucson Chocolate Emporium. It's a really, really good restaurant, and I highly recommend getting both food and desserts here, because the desserts are just as incredible as the food, if not better. But back in the day, this was the NBA City restaurant. I never got to go here. If you or your family got to go to the NBA City restaurant, comment below and let me know what you thought about it. I never stepped foot in there, but I do remember coming here and they had a basketball goal area set up, I believe to the left of the restaurant. And you could pay a couple of bucks and shoot some hoops. See as many shots as you can make in a certain time frame and you can win a prize. That has since been removed, but a lot has changed here. Stay away, Storm. I still have one more stop. I'm gonna beat you. I'm going to beat you. But the good thing is our last stop is on the way out, way at the front of CityWalk. And this one's gonna be the hardest shot to get because of all the crowds of people pouring in, but we're gonna do it. Right here was where this photograph was taken back in the day. This was the Motown Cafe. Pay attention to where that Forest Runs Across America map is. It's still there. Now where the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company logo is, the main entrance, that has had quite a facelift. But those two little CityWalk signs are still here. And they did remove the big palm tree that was blocking the front entrance of the Motown Cafe. It's kind of cool to see how much has come and gone. And if you look way up in the sky there to the far right where it says Bubba Gump Shrimp Company and it's spinning around on that sign, back in the day that was promoting the Motown Cafe, and it had a microphone on it. That was a spinning microphone, and they made it look like it was a radio station with the letters M-O-T-O-W-N. I never got to go here, and I never really paid attention that this was the Motown Cafe back in the day. Why didn't I do that? Well, I know exactly why, because I was focused on getting to the theme parks, like I said earlier. But man, so much has changed in this area. And I'm glad this was the last stop, because this one right here was my favorite. I can't believe there was actually a cafe dedicated to Motown. So awesome. Did you ever get to go to the Motown Cafe? Comment below and let me know how your experience was. Well, you guys, we did it. We found all the spots I wanted to show you today here at CityWalk, a part of Universal Orlando Resort. And I think it's safe to say it's time to say goodbye. But if you enjoyed this episode, give me a big thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button, because it's free and it'll keep you updated with my latest video. If you would like to support my channel, please visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/worldofmicah. We're donating $1 a month, can help fund episodes just like this. The next time you're here at Universal City Walk, walk around and take a closer look at everything they have to offer here. There's tons to see and do for families of all ages. And I'm excited to see what the next 20 years brings here to Universal City Walk. I'll see you on the next episode of World of Micah, everybody. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.